In just a few minutes, you're about to watch something impossible. A nation that didn't even exist managed to change the entire world. Before America, this vast land belonged to countless native tribes. There were no borders, no flags, and certainly no United States. It was a world of diverse cultures and deep connections to the land. Then, strangers arrived from across the ocean. They weren't looking for freedom, not in the way we think of it today. They came searching for land, for gold, and for power. And with their arrival, everything began to change. What started as small, fragile colonies clinging to the coast slowly grew. But as they expanded, something strange started to happen. These colonies, filled with people from different backgrounds, began to develop their own identity. They started to feel less like subjects of a distant king and more like something new. They grew tired of being ruled from across an ocean by an empire that didn't understand their lives or their ambitions. So, they did the unthinkable. They rebelled. They declared war against the strongest, most dominant empire on earth. On paper, it was a suicide mission. A handful of farmers and merchants against a global military machine. Against all odds, they won. And in 1776, a dangerous, revolutionary idea was unleashed upon the world. The idea that ordinary people could rule themselves. That power didn't have to come from a king or a queen, but from the consent of the governed. This was the birth of the United States. But this grand declaration of freedom came with a dark, terrible price. While the nation's founders wrote beautiful words about liberty and all men being created equal, millions were held in brutal slavery. This wasn't just a contradiction. It was a foundational hypocrisy that would haunt the country for centuries. Families were torn apart, human beings were bought and sold like property, and the very soul of the nation was built on this paradox. The country slowly, inevitably, began to split in two. That deep-seated tension finally exploded into a brutal, bloody civil war. It was a conflict that pitted brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, and state against state. The very idea of the United States was pushed to the absolute brink of collapse. The country survived, but it was scarred forever. The wounds from that war, and the injustice that caused it, have never fully healed. After tearing itself apart, America did something no one expected. It didn't slow down, it didn't collapse. Instead, it accelerated. Factories rose from the ground, their smokestacks reaching for the sky. Cities didn't just grow. They exploded, becoming magnets for people and innovation. Railroads stitched the continent together, and skyscrapers began to redefine the horizon. Immigrants arrived by the millions, from Ireland, Italy, China, and all corners of the globe, all chasing the same powerful, intoxicating idea, the American dream, a chance for a better life, no matter who you were or where you came from. But this rising power didn't go unnoticed. Power always attracts enemies. 2 devastating world wars pulled a reluctant America onto the global stage. It went from a nation focused inward to a major player in international conflicts. By the end of the Second World War, after the defeat of fascism, the world looked very different. The old empires of Europe were shattered, and America wasn't just a country anymore. It was a superpower. But this new status brought a new kind of conflict. The Cold War. This wasn't a war of marching armies and open battles. It was a silent, tense battle of ideologies. A struggle for the future of humanity, fought between 2 superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. It was a conflict fought with spies, with propaganda, and with the constant terrifying threat of nuclear weapons that could end all life on Earth. During this time, America raced forward. It raced to put a man on the moon. It raced to develop new technologies. It raced for global dominance. And somehow, against a formidable rival, it won again. The fall of the Soviet Union left America as the world's sole superpower. Its influence became inescapable. The Internet, born from an American military project, connected the planet. Hollywood movies, American music, and brands like Coca-Cola and McDonald's became global phenomena. American financial markets dictated the flow of money worldwide, and its military presence could be felt in every corner of the planet. For a moment, it seemed like the American experiment had definitively triumphed. But here's the unsettling part. This story isn't over. It's not a history lesson with a neat conclusion. America is still a nation deeply divided. The same arguments that have echoed through its history are being fought today, louder than ever. We're still arguing about what freedom really means, who it applies to, and what the role of this nation should be in the world. Some look at this history and see the greatest experiment in self-governance ever created, a beacon of hope and progress despite its flaws. Others look at the same history and see a story of hypocrisy and conflict, and believe that the experiment is now failing, collapsing under the weight of its own contradictions. So the real question isn't just about how America became so powerful. The truly important question, the one that affects every single one of us, is what happens next. And as this divided nation charts its course for the future, will the rest of the world survive? The answer. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through history thought-provoking, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss what we explore next.